4. What questions do we want to see to go over on the shortcut? Oh. Okay. 1, 2, and then I need you guys to vote 4 or 5. So put a hand up. You literally 4. 4. Okay, so 1, 2, and 4. Okay. 1 can be done in Desmos. 2 can be double checked in Desmos, and 4 could use Desmos, but because of the graph, we're just going to use graph.
Cool. Just use the equation that you gave us. Y minus Y1 equals X. Parentheses. X minus X1.
Okay.
Parentheses.
If I put all of these points in as a table, alright, if I'm looking at these points, I see that these are making a line. It is going through the ordinate. I just have to make sure the constant k is the same. So it looks like my slope is negative 1/5. If I go down again, that matches, and negative up, and that matches. So it is direct. If you had divided y by x, you would see that's also direct, except for the 0, 0. You just have to know it goes to the origin, so it would have to be direct. And then because it's direct, we're going to use y equals kx. Our k value was negative 1. And if you put that into Desmos, it should overlap on those points. So that would be a good way to double check. Is your equation right? Yes. Negative 1/5. Alright, number 2, combine like terms. Distribute the 2 and the 3. So we have 2x minus 6y minus 12x plus 3y plus, 12? No, that one was right. Anyway, plus 6x. And then combine all the x's together and their y's. So we have negative 10x plus 6 and negative 4x, and then minus 3y. Oh, wait. JK, I thought we were multiplying with a variable. Never mind. If I were to put that in to Desmos to double check, I could put in the original and the final answer. With x's and y's, capitalize all of those. Add in all your sliders, change those values to something different, and then put in your
You got the same numbers, but just one slide.
negative 4x minus 3y. And if your decimals match, you know you did that right. Question? questions on either of those two before we do 4? If you were just using the graph, you know it goes through 4, -1, sorry. And we have a slope of -3/2, so if I apply that slope, I'm going up 3 to the left 2 as many times as possible. And using this, I can say my equation is y equals -3/2x plus 5. You could have also done that in Desmos by putting in the point. Typing in your y equals mx plus b. Adding sliders for everything, changing your slope to -3/2. And then moving your slider until it goes through that point.
And that would be the y equals equation?
Yes. So if you're doing it algebraically, you would do that, yes. Questions on any of that? Make sure that you are writing, if you use Desmos, that you use Desmos, put it in Desmos something. Make sure your name is on that. Go ahead and press that up. So the last thing I said on this was you would need to write you would have to figure out your 2 equations. If you're using Desmos, you need to change the variables to x and y. So 1.5x plus 3y equals 28.5. X plus y equals 15. Define your variables. When you put that into Desmos, look at where they cross. Figure out what you're looking for, and then your answer would be 4. And I'm going to show the Desmos things in a moment. 428. You could have used Desmos, you could have just looked at this. So it took both sides of this and put them in as separate expressions to see where they would cross. You could also just put the entire line in to see it would be a vertical line at x equals 2. You could solve it, but your answer should have been x equals 2. And then 29, the answer was x equals -2. And then go on to the next page. These 2 questions, or the first one really, properties cannot be done in Desmos. You have to know the properties of equations and inequalities. This one's asking which ones show the subtraction property of inequality. So these 3 are subtracting to the other side. In the next problem, I asked between which 2 steps was the error made. Between the first 2 steps, when they distributed, they made this positive instead of negative. And then 5b, if you were solving this, the work is up there, but you could also just put that directly in Desmos, but change the variable to be x, because it won't graph it otherwise. And you would get y is less than or equal to -6. And on the number line, that would be closed, going to the left. And then go on to the last page. There was a graph there. I don't. But the problem wanted you to graph it, and it should have been a dashed line that was shaded below. You could have used Desmos to check it and got this from that, or you could have solved it and got y is less than negative 2x plus 5. I don't know if I mentioned this last class or not. The next sections that are due on Monday are 5C and 5D. Just those two are due on Monday. Before lunch, I'm going to show you some of the SOL tricks for this. So the beginning questions were your systems. You put those in, see where they cross. The ones that had graphs, you could put those in, find the answers. To include your inequalities. So all of your equations and inequalities can be done in Desmos, so make sure you are using that. Okay. When we get back, I might separate you now, but then when we get back, those that need to finish the test can start working on that. Those that finish the test, listen. Daria, okay, listen. Those that finish can be working on retake work. If you are not retaking, you can work on Delta Math, your JLabs, your SOL practice, or any of the additional practice on the back wall.
Are we going to have a new test? So we've been over this?
After the SOL. So yes.
So none of this quarter.
This is the last test for this quarter.
So the grade we have is pretty much final.
Yes.
So
Okay.
so that.
So I
I
gotta retake that.
I'm